Tash. All right, welcome, welcome, welcome. We're glad that you're here. Steve, your friends all left you. That's super sad. It is what it is. No. Steve says hard no to that. The good news is your crew will show up like in about 30 minutes. That's usually what they do. All right, welcome to Wednesday night. We're glad that you're here. Jackson, ball me. Oh, he threw it to my offside. Bogan, of course I saw it. All right. Before we get started, I want to just make sure we are well aware of the announcements. Shh. Hey, Riley, quit talking. Holy smokes. You know, you think you have seniors that are, like, respectful and that are mature, and it's just not the case. It's just not the case these days. If only more people could be like you, Maggie. You're just staring there, sitting there staring silently, just not saying anything. It's great. Big fan. Johnny, how are you feeling? When's your birthday? Oh, so it's still coming up. We still have time. Perfect. Are you a fan of surprises? Do you like to be the center of attention? Good. You'll enjoy this. All right. Everyone else, we're going to have a super secret meeting without Johnny in about an hour. We're going to talk about something else. Perfect. All right. Announcements are, there's not really a meeting. Please don't stay behind. I will leave and go home. If you want a prayer request card, they're right over there. You can tell us anything that you would like for us to pray for. Write your name down, or don't. Make it anonymous if you like. We will still pray for you. We pray for you every single week. Tucker actually prays for you every single week, as well as the whole staff. So, like, if you like the fact that Tucker thinks of you for about 0.7 seconds during the week, that's a big deal. So you can write stuff down here. If you have an event that you would like for us to go to or attend, you can write that down as well. We do not make promises that we will show up, but it's still nice to know about. If you have feedback, if you do not like the way that Mr. Matt runs the AV and Tech, feel free to write a scathing remark and review on the card. You turn that in. We'll make sure he gets it. It'll be great. The folder is right over there. Fill it out. Also over there is an illustration of the gospel that we talked about a few weeks ago. If you would like to have that as a tool, you can have that as a tool, and it'll be great. All right, announcements. We're going to roll through these quick. Sunday morning equipping. It's 9 a.m. on Sunday morning. Most of you should know about that right now. Stacy, the O'Neill class, is running through the Bible in a year. We are talking about how to walk with Jesus. Tucker is teaching our equipping class this Sunday. So, Tucker, if no one shows up, it means that they didn't want to hear you. But if everyone shows up, it means they did. So, it's all on you. How do you feel about it? Good. Confidence. I like it. Bogan, do you feel confident about his teaching ability? Why not? Because he's teaching? Okay. All right. Next announcement. Middle school retreat. That is coming up like next weekend. Not this weekend or the next weekend, but the next, correct? It's coming up soon. It's coming up November 4th through the 6th. We've had some sign-ups, which is really great. If you have not signed up and you would like to go, I'm looking at you tables, you should go. It'll be great. It'll be awesome. Yes, Hitesh. Yeah, we changed the date. It's fine. It's fixed now. But I'm telling you that it's November 4th through the 6th. So if you sign up, you'll be good to go. So we had some picture issues. We got the graphics settled. I blame Matt Little for that as well. He had nothing to do with it, but I still blame him for it. So that is coming up in a few weeks. If you haven't signed up, you need to sign up. You can do that at where? Great job, everybody. Really great job to these three people. Next, family dinner. Next one we have is Thanksgiving dinner. It is coming up. I always want to say November 14th. It's November 16th. 16th. That'll be a Wednesday. We'll have tables all in here. We're going to have Thanksgiving dinner. We've already secured all the food, the menu items. It's going to be a great time. You should come. If you have a special request, you can write that on the prayer card and turn it in. I won't listen to it because we've already set the menu, but you can still write it down. It is possible to do that. So that'll be Thanksgiving dinner, November 16th. Invite your friends, family, your most hated enemies. Everyone is welcome. Lorelai, if you had to put a number on how many enemies you have, a dozen? More? We'll talk about that later. All right, next. We are streaming as we speak. Micah, did we actually turn it on this time? No, I don't trust you. I trust Micah. Is it working? Oh, Micah's got the giggles. Here we go. You feel good about it? Have y'all noticed there's a point where if you say something that Micah thinks is super funny, he just can't function. He just does this, and he just never stops. You get the giggles like nobody I've ever seen, Micah. It's great. I'm a big fan of it. We are streaming right now. It's on the Ridgecrest YouTube channel. If you ever miss, or if you have friends that are like want to know what we're about, you can just send them to this. If you send them to the one that was 3 weeks ago, it was 56 minutes of absolutely nothing. That would be because Micah and me, but mainly Micah, did not turn on the video or the audio. So all you saw was just the logo of Ridgecrest Students for 56 minutes. It was great. So blame Micah and me, but mostly Micah for that. Any other announcements? Oh, Passion. We are officially going to Passion this year. So if you are a senior or you know someone who's in college that would like to go, tell them to sign up. We've already got people who are committed, some who have even signed up, I think, maybe. We still have plenty of room. There's still plenty of tickets. I can buy more if we need it. Lucy, this announcement does not apply to you yet, so just disregard everything I'm saying. So it's in Dallas, Fort Worth. Obviously, it's December 28th to the 30th. It's going to be great. Aw, tender. All right. Girls Ministry. Next event that we have is November 10th. It is Pancakes and Pajamas. Where's Megan? Not here. That's super embarrassing. She will give more information about it later. We'll put it on the group me. We'll let people know. It'll be a great time. There will be pajamas and there will be pancakes. There may even be a movie. It may be Toy Story. It may be Hocus Pocus. Do you own a pair of pajamas? That doesn't surprise me. We'll work on something. Guys, if there's something that you would like to do, hit me up. We'll figure it out. Oh. Do y'all know that Tucker went semi-pro in volleyball? He should have told that on his Two Truths and a Lie. Anyway, that's November 10th. It's going to be great. Is that it? All right. Last announcement that we're going to talk about. Shh. We can talk about Tucker's semi-pro volleyball career later. Last announcement. Next Wednesday is a big day. It's a big day. Do you know what day next Wednesday is? It is our Ridgecrest Students Halloween Harvest Festival Hallmark Autumn Extravaganza. I come up with that name every single year. It's our Halloween party next Wednesday. So, things that you need to know. One, be aware there'll be lots of candy. Be aware that we will be bobbing for donuts. So if you're into that, come ready. If you don't know what it is, ask a friend. It'll be great. There may be hors d'oeuvres or finger foods. Oh, it's Halloween. What if we made finger foods that were shaped like fingers? That'd be fun. I'm really outside the box here. So, if you need to review with your small group table what your costume theme is, go ahead and review it. Hi. Not like right this second, we'll do it later. Shh. You need to know what your costume is going to be because it is vital for the survival and well-being of your small group table. So we'll talk about the theme in a minute. We'll make sure we review and have it ready. Costumes are not required, but they are highly, highly, highly encouraged. I did tell Tucker today that it was required that he wear a costume. He's very excited about it. Micah, you have to wear a costume. I can't force you. Huh? I dress up every year. I win the dress-up competition every year. We will have a costume contest. It'll be a great time. Shh. What? Shh. Last thing. This is a great opportunity for you to invite people because It's just a big party. We're going to have fun. We're not going to like get super Jesus-y. If it happens that way, that'd be great. I'm not unwilling to let that happen, but it'll be a good time. We will not be doing small groups. Small group leaders will obviously be highly encouraged to be here. If you have a significant other, I have heard this, that some people feel like they don't feel comfortable asking their significant others, their friends that happen to be the opposite sex, to come because they're like, I can't sit with them and do all that. Well, this is a great time for you to invite your boyfriends and girlfriends and the people that you got friend zoned by, because we'll be co-ed. We won't be doing small groups. It'll be exciting. I know that I'm the only person in this room who's ever been friend zoned. I understand. All you are too cool. We'll point fingers at Logan later. All right, so that's our last announcement. Next Wednesday, costumes, bobbing for donuts. It'll be great. I almost said something that I shouldn't have said. We went past it. All right, so Tucker, are you ready? Be making your way onto the stage. All right, we're about to move into games. Our game master for today is Tucker because I'm teaching. Tucker did an amazing job teaching. Did you teach last week? Man, stuff just flies by. It was great. So, Tucker has toilet paper. Another fun game we're going to do afterwards. He's going to explain it. Take it away.
All right. I'm going to need 2 pairs, 4 girls, and 4 guys. We're going to play a mummy game. Hitesh and AJ, you two. I forgot your name in the blue. Kenzie. And Lorelai. I'm so bad at picking y'all. I hate doing that. Y'all always get to come up here, though.
Don't let the high schoolers come up.
You two, come up here. I got y'all next Wednesday. Okay.
Oh, we doing this?
All right. So we're going to mummify one of you for each pair, okay? So, you guys pick who wants to get mummified. Okay. So the point of the game is if a person's going to grab this piece right here, and what he's going to do is he's going to spin until that whole roll of toilet paper is gone. And whoever does it first wins without breaking the toilet paper.
Don't break the toilet paper. At all?
At all.
Oh my God. Go slow. Don't do it.
If we could get some music going, that'll be great. All right, just take it off. All right, musical chairs. Everybody, if you have less than 2 people, try to fill up each table with the amount of chairs that you have. Take 1 chair away. This game was brought to you by Hitesh. Everybody give him a round of applause. All right. What up, bro? Huh? That's fine. Think. Hey, Bogan. Y'all join that group with Steve. Just so we have enough people. Sheesh. Are we ready? Are we good? All right. When the music starts playing, you start to round the table. Here we go.
Great job, great job. What? 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 I heard you the first time. All right. Before we get into the lesson, we're going to do some small group stuff. For small group, your prompt today is just to take a few seconds, finalize your costume theme for next week, then we'll get into it. Y'all go back to y'all go back to your small group. No.
Steven's so low.
Sam's right here.
If he don't want to talk to Sam, he'll talk to me and Steve or me and Kaden. No, it's not.
You think way too highly of yourself. Can we do what? Can we go to the gym after this? I don't know. Maybe. All right, 60 seconds. Wrap it up, finish it. Hey, Ricky, is this your card? I found it on the stage. Ooh, that went a super long way. All right, wrap it up. All right, go. Go get a Bible or send someone from your table to go get one for everybody. Go grab some Bibles. We are going to be in two different places tonight. One is the first book of the Old Testament. The second is the first book of the New Testament. First book of the Old Testament, first book of the New Testament. That would be Genesis 1 and Matthew 3. We're going to be in Matthew first. So go ahead and turn to Matthew chapter 3. But be ready to go as speedily as possible to Genesis 1. Like as fast as humanly possible. It'll be Bible Drill 101. All right. Once you have found Matthew chapter 3, place your hand as awkwardly as possible on the shoulder of the person to your right. There we go. Once you have found your spot, place your hand as awkwardly as possible on the shoulder of the person to your right. Perfect. Before you disengage, give it a nice little squeeze. Just let them know you're there. Perfect. All right. That's good. Great job, everybody. Everyone is suitably uncomfortable. Shh. Hush. 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 Shh. I didn't see this. I hope I saw it. That was someone's version of as awkwardly as possible is to slowly pet the person to the right, because to me that's by far the most awkward. It just really gives you the heebie-jeebies. All right, next thing we need to do is take our phone out, hold it up in the air, show everybody how great your phone case is. Screen face down in the middle of the table so that we will not be distracted. Screen down in the middle. Perfect. Hi, Walker. So out of all the guys in this table, there's only 2 phones. There we go. Oh, I read I didn't see yours. Perfect. Okay. Shh. All right, we're going to get started. You can call me out on this. This is going to take 14 minutes. I'm going to be done at 7:01 on the dot. Where are we pointing at? Middle table. Put your phones on the table. If I see any one of y'all on your phone, if I see one screen light up, I get to kick every one of you in the shin. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. I believe you. Okay. Shh. Hush. Shh. Hush. Shh. Hush. Hush. Guys, chill with the stuff. There we go. All right. So this whole fall, we have been rocking through a sermon series on how do we walk with Jesus, how do we grow in our faith. We've talked about solitude. We've talked about discipleship, what it means to actually own your faith. We've talked about prayer. We've talked about a lot of things. Tucker has preached twice in one semester. We've done great things. We've only messed up one of the live streams. It's been a great semester so far. As you know, once we get into, we'll do Halloween, and then before you know it, it'll be family dinner for Thanksgiving. Then before you know it, we'll be into the Christmas break, and we'll be done with it. So we're kind of fastly, that's a word. I went to public school. We're quickly approaching the end of the semester. We'll go into Christmas. We'll start a new series going into the spring. It'll be great. And so today, what I wanted us to kind of spend we may spend a couple weeks on this. I'm not sure yet. What I wanted us to think about is our calling, our identity. These are very big church words for figuring out who you are, being comfortable in your own skin. When you look in the mirror, what do you see when it reflects back at you? If you're like a supermodel, then this doesn't apply to you. If you have some other words that come to mind, then we'll talk about it. Because when you're reading through the Gospels, and we're going to be in Matthew, it shows up all throughout all the Gospels. But when you read about Jesus, when you you're trying to figure out who Jesus is, you're reading about who he was so that you can follow him better. There's something that you notice in the background, but it doesn't come right out and say it. But it's that Jesus was perfectly comfortable in his own skin. He knew who he was. He never was like, man, my hair's getting long and makes me look shaggy, and none of it. He was never like, hey, I really wonder what Peter thinks of me. We had an argument the other day, and he's been acting kind of weird, and I don't know how this feels. He was never really insecure or anything like that. Jesus was always perfectly comfortable in what he was doing. And when you compare that to us, that tends to look very different, because there's some days where we're very comfortable in who we are. We like the way that we look. We like the way that we're dressed. We like the friendships and the family that we have. And there are other days where we do not love ourselves. We don't like the way that we look. We don't like the way that we act. Things come out of our mouths that we're like, you wish you could take it back because your filter was gone. You have issues with friends or people around you. Maybe you worry about what other people think. Sometimes people tell you what they think, and you don't really like what they say. Sometimes we just have issues with our reputation, or what our perceived reputation is, or just how we feel individually about ourselves. And that is not the way that Jesus was. And so part of us growing to be like Jesus is this act of growing to a place where we know who we are, and we're comfortable with that, and we love ourselves because we love the fact that we're growing to be more like Jesus. And so we're going to look at a couple times, or a couple of places in the Bible that talks about how Jesus kind of knew who he was. Then we're going to look at who we are and what the Bible says about us. Because the fact of the matter is that there's 1,000 different places, people, or things that try to tell you who you are. Your friends try to tell you who you are because you want to hang out with them, so you need to be this person. Your family may say, we are the blanks, whatever your last name is, and we do this. This is who we are. Sometimes different people that you follow or people that have influence over you, they'd say, this is who you should be. And you either say, okay, I am this person, or I'm not good enough because I'm not like this person. There's all these different these avenues and perspectives of people saying who you are and who you should be or who you should not be. And it can be super overwhelming and super confusing because we're all different. We're all very complex and unique in our own special ways. And that makes things complicated. And so what I want to do is show some ways of what it looks like for someone to live being completely comfortable in who they are. And then I want to take a few minutes and say who you are, what the Bible says about each and every one of you, who you are, and how that can affect how you live your life. So this is super like Bible nerdy, so bear with me. There's a lot of argument and disagreement about when did Jesus know that he was God? Some people say like Jesus always knew, like as soon as he could like his brain formed enough to think, like he was like, I am God. Other people think it was that passage when, he gets lost, so he gets separated from his parents, and they find him, and he's with the teachers in the synagogue, and he's like, I need to be with my Father. Some people think that was when he knew, like that was the moment when he was 12, and he said, like, I am God, I am God's son, I'm supposed to do my thing. Other people, and there's no right answer, we don't know the answer. It could be all three, we never know. The other one is when he's baptized. And whether or not this is when Jesus knew, like, I am God's son, I'm going to go on my ministry or not, it's still a very pivotal moment in Jesus' ministry because something really crazy happens. So Matthew 3, verse 13, we'll start reading at 16. I'll just give some background on the first parts. So Jesus, there's John the Baptist, how is he related to Jesus? Do we know? No? Cousin. They're cousins. John the Baptist is doing his ministry. He's also a person who knows who he is. Because people are like, who are you? Are you the Messiah? And he's like, no, not at all. They're like, are you Elijah? He's like, no, not at all. They're like, well, then who are you? He's like, I am the one who who shouts in the wilderness, make way of the Lord. I paraphrase that. But this is a guy who knew who he was. He knew that he was the guy who came before the Messiah. He knew what his job was. His job was to prepare the way. And that's what he was doing. He was baptizing people in the Jordan, saying, like, get ready. The Messiah is coming. If you believe, get ready. And he's baptizing them. He's saying, like, get ready. This thing's about to blow up. Like, things are about to get crazy. And one day, while he's doing that, Jesus walks up. That's starting in verse 13. It says that he came to the Jordan to see John. John tried to stop Jesus, and he was like, I'm the one who needs to be baptized by you, and yet you come to me to be baptized? And Jesus is like, hey, this is what we need to do. Let it be so. And then, so in verse 16 is where we'll get started. It says, and when he was baptized, immediately he went up from the water, and behold, the heavens were opened to him, and he saw the Spirit of God descending like a dove and coming to rest on him. And behold, a voice from heaven said, this is my beloved Son, with whom I am well pleased. So if you weren't paying a lick of attention, it says the heavens were ripped open. We don't really know what that's like, but basically something changed in the atmosphere where the Spirit came down like a dove, and then the voice of God audibly speaks out and says, this is my Son. Like, this is the beginning of what is about to happen. The rescue plan, as Cash's children book says. Like, the rescue plan is beginning right now because this is the Messiah. This crazy, miraculous thing happened. If you want to read further, this is the beginning of Jesus' like full-time ministry. He's about to go into the wilderness and fast and be away from everybody for 40 days. He's about to be tempted by Satan, and then he starts picking up disciples and he starts moving. And so as we watch through Jesus' life, we see like all through his ministry, he says, like, I'm the Son of Man. I am the Son of God. I know what is coming. I know what is being asked of me. This is who I am. This is who I'm supposed to be. He spends half his ministry just letting people know, I am God. Like, I am the Son of Man. And then usually he says, like, be quiet about it. But he knew who he was. And so if you're listening to this and you don't like who you are, or you're not sure of who you're supposed to be, or you don't know your identity, and you're like, that's great. Jesus knew who he was. I'm not Jesus. God is not going to like audibly speak and say like, my name is Tabitha. I am awesome, or anything like that. Do we know anybody named Tabitha? Good, perfect. So if you're wanting to know who you are, go to Genesis 1. We're going to start off at the very beginning. If you are unsure where Genesis 1 is, there's a table of contents, and go about 3 pages past it, and that'll be Genesis 1. Oh, there we go. We're going to be in 1, verse 26 and 27. It's literally on page 2. No, it's not. There it is, page 1. It says, then God said, let us make man in our image after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the birds of the heavens, and over the livestock, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creeps on the earth. Verse 27, so God created man in his own image. In the image of God, he created him. Male and female, he created him. There's a lot of different ways that you can go with who you are meant to be. Are you meant to be, like which spiritual gifts are you supposed to have, or which personality makes you unique and that God is going to use in a special way for his plan in your life? Those are things that your small group is going to talk to you about, things that we can go deeper on. But the main thing, if everything gets stripped away, for a lot of us, we find our identity in different things, or who we are, or who our family is. But what happens when those things get taken away? Like, let's say you're a Germantown Maverick, and like for some reason you find like, I am a Maverick, but then you have to move. Your parents get a new job. You have to move to Idaho. Like, then your identity has to shift, and you have this issue. Or Lucy, if you're someone who disrupts the entire youth group, and like then I throw a shoe at you, like that changes who you are. If you find your identity in the vehicle that you drive, or the vehicle your parents drive, or if you're used to living in this house at this income level, your parents make this much money, but what if that changes? It changes who you are and who your identity is. And these things can be stripped away from us that we build up to be who we are. But at the foundation of everything, no matter who you are, no matter how much money you have, no matter who your parents are, no matter what school you go to, no matter if you're into, like, I don't know, being an Instagram influencer, or you're like super into anime, or you love to like bake muffins, or you're really good musically, or whatever. At the end of the day, if everything is stripped away, we believe as Christians, as believers and followers of Jesus, there's one thing that is certain above everything else. And it is that we are image bearers of God, that we bear his image. We reflect him into the world. If you were around when I preached in big church in the sanctuary last, I did a little illustration that we'll talk about with some mirrors. And it's that we were all created to be image bearers. So what does that mean? We were all made, if I like blind you with this, it'll be great. Right now I'm smoking Ethan right there. So think about it like we're a mirror. God created us in a perfect world. We are made to reflect God. Let's just imagine that logo is God. It's not really, but let's just pretend. And so God, for some reason, we don't understand it, has created us to rule over the earth, to be co-rulers with him. It's this weird thing. God could do it himself. He could just show up, walk through that door, and be in charge of stuff, but he doesn't. For some reason, I got Tucker now. For some reason, he works with us and through us to rule over this world. And so our job is to take the Spirit, the power of God, and then reflect that into the world. You guys are the world. So Spirit comes in, boom, reflects into the world. And then that looks like different things where we spread love into the world. We spread justice into the world. We serve people in the world. These spirits of God, we reflect that. But because of sin, our mirrors get cracked. They get broken. They get distorted. Sometimes the Spirit of God hits a weird crack and it misses. Sometimes because we don't really want to reflect God, we kind of turn and we alter it to where we're not really reflecting that. Sin hides God from us. It hides that reflection. And then what Jesus does is when he comes into our heart, when he saves us, when we follow him, he starts to change us. And these cracks start to be healed. They start to mend themselves. And then one day, when we die, when Jesus comes back, whichever happens first, that cracked mirror, the thing that makes us unique and yet broken, will one day be mended back to being whole. And so that's what we're shooting for. So for you, you are broken. You are messed up. You don't reflect God in the way that you should. Like, congrats, you're messed up. We all are. The beautiful thing is that each of these cracks that make you unique, there's something about you that God is going to use in a special way. You are going to reflect God into the world in a certain way that nobody else can. And part of that has to do with who your family is. Part of that has to do with your personality and who you are and how you act around people. And that will change. You know, God will start to mend some things. The way that you are will change as you grow closer to God, but yet God is going to use that. He's going to use you to bear his image into the world. So at the basis, at the foundation of everything, as we try to figure out what is our identity, what is our calling, who are we, and what does that look like, that's what I want you to think about, is think about what makes you unique. What are the personality quirks? What are the friendships that you have? What is the family that you were born into? How is God using that to reflect into the world around you? How is he using you to make himself known to the people? But if you don't know the foundation of that, if you don't believe that if you strip everything away, if you don't believe that you are an image bearer, then we don't go anywhere from there. So who are you? Who am I? Who are us? Who are we as the church? We are image bearers. We reflect God into the world around us. And Jesus, every single day, is fixing that brokenness within us. He's mending those cracks to make us whole again. And that's what we shoot for. That's what we live for. So, I went long, sorry. We're going to pray. We're going to do small groups, and we're going to talk about what that looks like. Leaders, I did not send the parent note, but we'll have questions on the board. We'll just talk about, how do you feel about yourself? And we don't have to spend 3 hours talking about how you hate yourself or how you love yourself. But like, what does it look like, or how do you think about yourself? How do you think others think about you or talk about you or perceive you? And then what does it look like to bear God's image in your life? How do you think you do at that? Do you think there's any part of you that is even looking towards God and trying to reflect that? Are you hiding yourself, or are you using your gifts? Are you letting God use you and what makes you special for his kingdom and for his glory? We're going to talk about it. It's going to be great. I'm going to pray for us, and then we'll move into small groups. God, we love you. Thank you for today. Thank you for the task that you've given us to be co-rulers with you, to have dominion over the world. I pray that we would lean into that we would try to figure out what that means for us as middle schoolers and high schoolers and adults, to figure out what it means to follow you and to lead and to have influence over this world, to use the gifts that you've given us to reflect your spirit into the world, to do things like work for justice and to walk humbly and to know you and to know others and to serve those around us. So I pray that in our small groups we would talk about it, that we would be honest with each other, that we would lift one another up, and that we would be willing to be open. We'd be willing to be honest, that we would be willing to share the things of our heart that people don't know. And I pray that we would trust one another. I pray that we would seek after you, and that we would do these things for your glory. So in your name we pray. Amen.